Hey, this is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today we're going to look at a modification for the BeamNG Covet, and we're going to go to Black Hills, Nevada to do this, and then we'll go to some other places as well after that. So let's go ahead and pull up the vehicle selector and find what we want. There it is. It's the Slayer Ultra Rally Covet, and it does have the drift and two race editions as well. We'll look at those later, but it makes sense to start with the Rally edition considering it's called Slayer Ultra Rally Covet. Right? That makes sense to you too, huh? Yeah? I'm not crazy. Maybe I am. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this in spicy red because I know there's a rally blue, but spicy red. How can you not want spicy red as your color? So this car does have a custom sound. Before we talk about anything else about the car, I'll go ahead and let you listen to that because if I don't do it now, I'll forget. So if you need to turn up your volume, you can go ahead and do that while I'm driving, and I'll shut up now and I'll talk again once I respawn the car. Okay, hopefully you had a chance to adjust your audio settings and I'm not blowing your eardrums out right now, and if I am, I should probably stop talking, but I'm not gonna because I gotta get on with this video, and that means you're probably gonna go deaf at this point, and I would apologize to you, but you can't hear me apologize anyways, and those YouTube captions, those are a joke. Those won't get you the right words I'm saying at all, so I'm sorry, but you can't hear me if I made you go deaf because I blew your eardrums out. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about this car. So visually, compared to the normal Rally Covet, you're not gonna notice much difference. The only thing you'll really easily notice is the fact that, oh, the wheels are different. Aside from that, you're not going to really see anything that's that different. It crashes just like a normal Rally Covet. So let's go ahead and move it off the sign so I don't spawn it inside of there. And reset it. Now, the actual changes to the car are with the way it drives. For example, the acceleration is a lot better because there's a more powerful engine as well as all-wheel drive to put that power down. I believe the engine makes 300 horsepower at its peak, which is quite a lot to put through a front-wheel drive vehicle without any sort of fancy like torque vectoring or whatever they use in front-wheel drive cars to make them actually be able to put down their power in a meaningful way, which the Covet doesn't have. It's an old-looking car. It wouldn't have none of that computer nonsense. It just has raw all-wheel drive instead, which works great for putting down power. And I can't really think of a situation aside from maybe lightweight and a reduction in price where you'd want front-wheel drive over all-wheel drive. Like, all-wheel drive is great. Why would you not want it? It makes it where you could just swing this car around all over the place and still keep control of it. I could go like this and almost keep control of it. We're going in the rally. We're rally mode, yes. So, it has a better engine, and it has a relatively decent rally setup. Like, I have no issues with this. It works well for the most part, but let's say, for example, we're on a course that's really bumpy like this one, and we are just kind of bottoming out, and it's causing us to slow down and not go as fast as we possibly could. That's where this mod really shines, because this car has so many things you could do to the setup to make it fit the situation you're in. So, like I said, let's say we're rallying along and we're bottoming out all over the place. That's because the stock rally car has a mid-soft coilover setup, which means the height of the suspension is in the middle and it's soft. So we could say, let's put a tall, soft suspension setup on this thing, and then it should be able to clear the jumps better if you were having problems with jumps on that track. So you can make a car that's really fine-tuned for the exact situation you're in, which is what's cool about this mod. So now, maybe we won't bottom out as much, and we'll be able to drive along more. It's hard to really say, if it does make much of an improvement, because I'm not driving the same route, but you notice, I'm just holding the gas pedal, not even looking where I'm going. And it seems like the car is, for the most part, able to keep itself level, where the other one, I was looking where I was going, and it flipped over. So for just driving around like this, the tall suspension setup is beneficial. I don't know if soft is necessarily the best option here, but it seems to be working out relatively well. And that's just one example of one of the parts you could change with this mod, because there are absolutely insane number of options in total for this thing. So like just going down the list, right now we have a short ratio transmission, and if you don't know the difference between a short ratio and a long ratio transmission, a short ratio is where you can accelerate fast, but you have a low top speed. A long ratio one is where you can accelerate slower, but you have a high top speed. So you would say, okay, how long is the longest straight in this track? And then you would pick the transmission that fits that setup. So you wouldn't be topping out at redline as your top gear on a straightaway for like 10 seconds straight. That just means you're gonna be losing time and you're gonna be going slower to everybody else. So you pick the transmission that fits. Right now, short seems to work perfectly fine because we're not going that fast, because we're just bouncing all over the place. And then for differential, there's also a bunch of options. There's 4 of them, and I only actually know how to use 2 of them. Like when to use 2 of them, I should say. There's a rally locked, rally open, rally medium open, and rally medium front differential. I only know when to use the rally open, and then the rally locked. And the rear differential is the same way. It has the same options. And then for the suspension, you have a ton of options there again. You don't have any presets, but you do have a ton of options to change out. You can almost think of the Rally Edition as a preset that you tune to the track. So right now, rally tires, obviously we don't want drift tires or slicks for rallying. But let's say, what if we wanted race steering? Because the steering is how fast the wheels will rotate or change their direction when you're actually driving. So I think the rally one is faster than the regular steering, but slower than the race. But I'm not sure on that. I've never actually compared them. I'm just going based off the way they feel when you drive it. But you could change it depending on which way you like the car to feel. Then you have brakes. You have like 4 options there. You have racing, default, and racing. So it's basically you're going to have some sort of racing brakes. It just depends what kind you want. Do you want low ABS, just normal front brakes, or do you want ABS front brakes? And I haven't, again, done much testing on the brakes, so I don't know the difference there. Sway bars, I know what those do just based off of playing other games where you tune cars, and you could have front ones that they're soft, stiff, and medium, and it's the same way for the rear. So that's just giving you an idea of all the options there are. There are a ton of options for you to customize your car to make it actually like fit perfectly with whatever you're doing. And that's really the coolest part about this vehicle, is just being able to say, okay, I have this issue with the way it's driving, let me change this piece, and then boom, it drives exactly the way you'd want. And it's one of those mods where it's like, it's kind of hard to show that, to be honest. Like right here, you can see how it's actually able to handle the jumps a little bit better, and I managed to flip it over right as I say that. I shouldn't talk, because when I say something, the exact opposite always happens. Hey, we're back at the main menu because the game was like, I'm gonna crash right now, and it did. So let's go ahead and head to a different map just in case it was caused by the map. I don't think it was. I think it was just a coincidental, like, I'm crashing now because I'm beta, alpha game, whatever. So let's go ahead and head to core racing instead, just in case, though. Now that I think about it, I probably should have went here from the start because it actually has jumps. And the problem with Black Hills, I thought it has jumps, but it didn't have any, so I ended up just going all off the roads to find the jumps. Anyways, let's go ahead and drive the Rally Covet around here, so see how it does. And I think what I was really just getting to before the game crashed is like, this is all about making that perfect car that's for how you drive for that track. And it's really cool because it brings in a tuning aspect, which the normal game doesn't really have. So it makes it, you know, it's not as deep of tuning as like Forza or Gran Turismo or something, but it at least gives you the ability to tweak the car setup in ways that you couldn't before. And I like being able to do that. I don't know how often I'll do it because a lot of the time I'm just like, let's go. I don't want to bother with that, but if I'm ever doing something that's like a time trial or something, you know I'm going to be tweaking the setup to make it the exact way I want it and be able to drive as fast as possible. It's just a matter of when would I actually do a time trial. Well, actually, there's a map I have that's just for that. I don't know when I'll get around to doing a video for it, but there you go. There's a perfect use for it. Right there. That easy to think about. I'll probably be doing a video for that map maybe tomorrow. So there's a neat little thing. You'll know what video's coming tomorrow, maybe. Maybe. I make no guarantees. It's just a possibility. But yeah, just as a demonstration, you see the normal setup will work in almost every situation. It's just when you want to be a little bit faster or a little bit more durable or something, that's when you go and change it. Just for those small modifications. You don't need to do anything because the stock one's perfectly competent. It broke right there. I say perfectly competent. I'm not competent. I'm breaking right here. Just making me look like a liar. Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead and look at the other editions, though, because it does have the race and drift. So let's go to an appropriate place, which would be... I don't want to do Hirochi Raceway. Well, yeah, we could do Hirochi Raceway. Why not? As I said before, there are 2 presets you could choose from for the racing versions of this. There's a race and a race B, with the biggest difference being the race B is all-wheel drive, while the normal race is rear-wheel drive. And me being really lazy, I do like the all-wheel drive because it'll pull you through the corners and you don't even have to focus that hard on the driving. You can be lazy. With the rear-wheel drive, you actually have to pay attention to what you're doing to make sure you don't spin out. With all-wheel drive, you just hold the throttle down, and usually you'll get lucky and it'll pull you through the corner all on its own, as you saw right there. And it seems like it's a perfectly competent race car. No real issues with it. It's a little on the slidey side with the rear wheels, but that's because it has drift tires on the back by default. So again, with the way this mod is set up, you could change it to be whatever setup you want. But for me, this edition works amazing as a drift car. Like, did you see that drift, man? That's a beautiful drift. It's funny, it's not even the drift one, and it works great for the drift car. And then the way I drift, it's like the drift car, it's like I don't like the way this one handles as much as this one for a drift car. But it's all about the customizability. All those parts you saw for the rally one, it's the same options here for this one. It's just the way they're set up. Like, this one is using parts you already saw set up to be on a racetrack. There's nothing unique about it from that list of parts, it's just the way they're configured. And let's say you want a car that has even more grip in the back, because like I said, this one feels a little bit like a drift car to me. You put rear racing slicks on it, which will probably make it understeer a little bit. Well, a lot now that I think about it, but that's... Hey, is it not backing up? I thought it had no reverse gear for a second. I'm like, why is it not backing up? So this might make it understeer a little bit, which would mean you probably would want to change the rest of the suspension. Well, no. That seems good. See, it's all about that customizability. Now, it actually still works as a drift car, but it handles the road even grippier, which is just, ooh, grip. Who doesn't love grip? See, it's funny. For me, it's like a race car feels like a great drift car, and then you give me a drift car, I'm like, what is this? You can't drift with this. Because I don't know how to drift. I also prefer a more dramatic crash there. Anyways, though, like I said, you also have this the other race edition, which you could drive around for a little bit. I did a lap with that one, so you could try to do a lap with this one as well. I'm still disappointed with that crash, though. So this one, you can't do like crazy things like the all-wheel drive one. Like if I just go full power, you're gonna get wheel spin, and then you'll crash. So that's why I like the all-wheel drive. Just makes it nice and easy for being lazy. On second thought, I don't know if I want to do a whole lap like this, because that means I have to actually focus on my throttle control and stuff, and it's really not that easy to drive a car at its limits while you're talking. Like, it's one thing to just drive a car at the speed limit and stuff while you're talking, but to drive a digital car at its limits is not easy while you're talking. It's like you gotta focus on one or the other. So maybe instead of doing a whole lap, we'll just crash it once and be like, yep, that's close enough. Go through this corner, maybe flip? Nope, no flip. Just a hit. I am a tree now. Alright, so there you go. That's just a quick demonstration of that one. I bet that one would work as a good drift car for me as well for some reason, I bet. Let me just try it out, because it seems like, yeah, that would work as a drift car for me anytime it's a race edition. That would work as a drift car. I mean, with this much power and that little traction, it seems like you could just... Kind of. I guess this isn't the best corner to really test it because you can't go too deep into it, but it seems like it could work as a drift car. No, I messed it up. Oh, I almost made it right through there. That's a tight fit, too. Yeah, sure it could. Like, it's just a weird thing. It's like I could drift any race car, but I can't drift a drift car. So weird. Yeah, try to drift through there. That's hard. No, let's not. Stop right here and get the drift one and drift it. Or not drift it. I don't know. I haven't actually used the drift one, to be honest. And I think it was all-wheel drive, and that's what I was like, huh. Where is the... There, yeah. See, it's all-wheel drive because it has the differential on the front. Makes it all-wheel drive. Now, I could demonstrate that to you, or you could just trust me and determine if I'm telling the truth based on the driving of the vehicle. Basically, if I make it through the corner, it's all-wheel drive. If I spin out, it's probably rear-wheel drive, or I just really suck at driving. Look, I made it through the corners. I probably couldn't have done that if it was rear-wheel drive with how little focus I'm putting into this, so there's your proof. And it actually seems like it's a drift car that matches up with the way I drive, which, like I said, isn't usually the case. It might be just the fact that it's all-wheel drive, so it's able to pull itself through the corners without much issue. Like, I think that's probably what it is, just the all-wheel drive's like, we're going through every corner, no problem. You know, usually, or at least as far as I'm concerned, traditionally, drift cars are just rear-wheel drive, and then you have all these people with tons of money who's like, let's make a 1,000 horsepower all-wheel drive drift car for competition. And that's like a totally different kind of drifting as far as I'm concerned. That's like the crazy, you know, that's like comparing NASCAR to racing your Miata on a track day. You know, they're totally different leagues of competition. And me, when I talk about drift, I usually mean like the lower leagues where people just have, for the most part, you know, cheaper, fairly stock cars. Like this one is kind of like that, you know, 300 horsepower, not 1,000 like they have at Formula Drift and stuff. Because, again, like I said, it's just two totally different kinds of things. So, yeah, it seems to work well. And once again, it has all the customization you could have on the other ones. So, for example, well, wrong button. We could have a high car. I don't know why you would want that, but you could have a really tall car. And then, oh, you can have it tall in the front only. That'd be really unusual. Yeah. What do you think of my fitment, man? Yeah, it's totally terrible. But, I don't know if there's much modification to do to this one. I actually like the way it handles. Which, again, is just a surprise to me. See, now it's going to handle terribly. What is understeer? That is understeer. Because I ruined it. Why did I ruin it? Not entirely because of me only, but... I mean, it's not entirely because of my tuning only, it's because of me. But anyways, that'll do it for this car. Until next time, this is WhyBeAre. I'll see ya.